So hello everyone, welcome to another video session class. So today we will start anti-tubercular drugs. Okay. So what are anti-tubercular drugs? So anti-tubercular drugs are the drugs which are used to treat the tuberculosis. Okay. Tuberculosis. So anti-tubercular drugs are the drugs which are used to treat the tuberculosis disease. Okay. So let us see what is so tuberculosis is an infectious disease caused by Mycobacterium. Okay, Mycobacterium. So you have to remember this tuberculosis is an infectious disease which is caused by Mycobacterium. So you remember this anti-tubercular drugs are also known as anti-mycobacterial drugs. Okay, so you remember both the leprosy, okay, anti-leprotic drugs and anti-tubercular drugs are known as anti-mycobacterial drugs. Why? Because both the drugs are used against mycobacterium. Okay, so what are the positive organisms? So tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium, tuberculosis. Okay, Mycobacterium, tuberculosis. Then it is also caused by Mycobacterium africanum. Okay, africanum. Then also caused by Mycobacterium bovis. Okay, so Mycobacterium bovis, this affects mainly the bovine species. Okay, like buffalo, cows. Okay, so you have to remember. Okay, so this is the so these are the positive organisms. So Mycobacterium or tuberculosis, the main symptoms are quite like it affects. So it affects mainly the lungs. Okay, but the indications may be very much light. Okay, at first the patient may not experience that he is having infectious or he is having infection of lungs or mycobacterium. Okay, so indications include fever, okay, then cough, okay, then blood in sputum. Okay, blood in sputum. This may be the indication. At first mild fever may generate, then cough. Okay, so this may be the indication. But so how can we detect or how can we diagnose this tuberculosis? So we can go for tuberculin test. Okay, so tuberculin is an heat concentrated. So this tuberculin is an heat concentrated filtrate of lysis of bacilli. Okay, so bacilli is nothing but the tubercle bacilli, that is your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay, so this is the heat concentrated filtrate of this which is generated due to the lysis of this bacilli. So how this tuberculin test is done? This tuberculin is injected in the skin surface, mainly in the arm, and then from 48 hours to 78 hours, the site of injection of tuberculin is monitored for any inflammation, okay, or redness, mainly redness. There will be generation of redness in the skin, and that will ultimately confirm the infection of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay, so this is, you will find in the internet that Mantoux tuberculin test. Okay, so another is ESR. Okay, ESR. Then X-ray also can be, X-ray of the lungs can be done for diagnosis. Okay, so these are the mainly clinical manifestation of this tuberculosis, and these are the diagnosis test. Okay, ESR, erythromyte sedimentation rate, then X-ray of X-ray to detect any generation of any node in the apex part of this lungs. Okay, so you have to remember that tuberculosis mainly affect the lungs. Okay, and how this tuberculosis is transferred from one person to another person, mainly the droplet infection. Okay, droplet infection. So the droplet or sputum, okay, droplet from sneezing or droplet from the sputum may be containing the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which may infect other person also. Okay, and you have to remember for Mycobacterium bovis, okay, mainly the infected milk. Okay, as this is this Mycobacterium bovis infect cows, then buffaloes, mainly the bovine animals. So if you drink the milk of this infected cow or any bovine animal, you will get infected. Okay, so these are the brief introduction about the tuberculosis. Okay, so first, until 1940 there is no specific treatment for this tuberculosis. So after the discovery of this streptomycin from the 1994, then the discovery of para-aminosalicylic acid and isoniazid in the year 1952. So mainly from there the treatment of this tuberculosis started. Okay, other drugs also, so tuberculosis, other drugs are also there now available. Okay, like ethambutol. Okay, so mainly two category of drugs are used for treatment of this one tuberculosis. First one is synthetic drugs. Okay, synthetic drugs, and another one is your antibiotics. Okay, so you remember these two are synthetic drugs, PAS, that is para-aminosalicylic acid and isoniazid, and this one is streptomycin, comes under antibiotics. Okay, so this is a brief history about the antitubercular drugs and what is tuberculosis. Okay, you have already studied in your I think pathophysiology classes. So next directly we will go for drugs. Okay, so first drugs we will study, that is isoniazid. Okay, in short, in many books you will find INH. Okay, so we will study isoniazid. So let us first draw the structure of isoniazid. Here NH2. So this is the structure of isoniazid. Okay, so So this is the structure of isoniazid. So how can we name this one? IUPAC nomenclature or nomenclature. How can we name? So can I write para or 4-pyridine carboxylic acid hydrazide. Okay, so this is the one name. Then can we name isonicotinyl, then hydrazine. Not isonicotinyl, isonicotinyl hydrazine. Yes, you can name like this. Okay, para-pyridine carboxylic acid hydrazide. Then this one is N benzene with N and C double bond OH is the nicotinic acid. Okay, isonicotinic acid. If this C double bond OH present here, so we can call it simple nicotinic acid. But if this is present in 1, 2, 3, 4 position, we will call it isonicotinic acid. So this is the structure of isoniazid. Okay, in short you will find INH in many books. Okay, so next we will go for the properties. So isoniazid properties. So what are the properties of isoniazid? First property, it is colorless or white in color. Okay, it is colorless or white in color. It is crystalline powder. Okay, then it is odorless, that is, it is not having certain smell. It's odorless. Okay, next, its melting point is 171.4 degree Celsius. So it's the melting point of this isoniazid. Next we will see solubility. Okay, this melting point 171.4 degree Celsius. Then solubility we will see. Solubility. So it is soluble in. So it is soluble in water at the ratio of 1:8. Then it is soluble in alcohol 1:50 ratio. Okay, then it is, next I am writing here, it is slightly soluble in ether and chloroform. Okay, so it is the solubility profile. So it is soluble in water in the 1:8 ratio. It is also soluble in alcohol in the 1:50 ratio. Then it is slightly soluble in ether and chloroform. So these are the properties. So next we will see the formulations. Okay, so what are the formulations of this isoniazid? So isoniazid is a pure drug form. It is available as per IP, this Indian Pharmacopoeia, and BP, that is British Pharmacopoeia. Then isoniazid tablet. So it is formulated in the form of tablets as per Indian Pharmacopoeia and British Pharmacopoeia. Okay. Next, I'm writing here. Okay. Next, isoniazid tablets or syrup as per BP, that is British Pharmacopoeia, and USP, United States Pharmacopoeia. Okay, and another is their formulation available: isoniazid injection. Okay, so as per BP, this British Pharmacopoeia, and as per USP, United States Pharmacopoeia. Okay, so these are the formulations. So next we will see the brands. Okay, so what are the available brands? So brands you have to remember. Okay, brands I will give some, and you have to study from the book and as well as from the internet. So INH, okay, directly isoniazid, then Rimidseed, okay, Rimidseed, then Isoseed, and Hycoseed, etc. So INH, Rimidseed, then Isoseed, okay, Isoseed, then Hycoseed, etc. Rest you study from your book as well as from internet. You will find. Okay, so what are the brands combination brands which are containing isoniazid? Okay, so next about storage condition. Storage conditions. Okay, so isoniazid should be stored in well closed container, and it should be protected from light. Okay, so this is isoniazid. So storage conditions: it should be stored in well closed container, then it should be protected from light. So for light protection we should keep the formulation in the amber color bottle. So this is isoniazid. I hope you have understood this one. Okay, so we have left with uses of this isoniazid. Okay, so what are the uses? So uses, so it is used as tuberculostatic. Okay, so that means it inhibits the growth of mycobacteria, bacteria. Okay, then it is used for both pulmonary and extrapulmonary, that is the the infection caused by extrapulmonary, okay, in this training, extrapulmonary tuberculosis, that is the tuberculosis which is affecting the other body parts except lungs. Okay, that is called extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Along with pyridoxine, okay, pyridoxine, it is used to treat neurotoxicity. Okay, neurotoxicity. So these are the mainly uses of this isoniazid. Okay, the tuberculosis, that is, it can be used as bacteriostatic of this Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Then it is used for both pulmonary and extrapulmonary tuberculosis, and along with the pyridoxine, this isoniazid, if combined with pyridoxine, used for the treatment of neurotoxicity associated with this tuberculosis. Okay, so next we will study PAS. Okay, that is para-amino PAS. What is the full form of this one? Para-amino salicylic acid. Okay, so this is PAS. So it is also used for the treatment of tuberculosis. So I am drawing the structure. So this is the structure of para-amino salicylic acid. Okay, so if you see ortho, this is carboxylic acid, ortho. So from the primary functional group, first position will be the ortho, meta, then para. So in para position, amino NH2 group is there, that is amino group is there. So that's why para-amino salicylic, and this is the structure of salicylic acid. Okay, this is amino group and this is the structure of salicylic acid. Okay, benzene ring with one C double bond OH and one OH. Okay, this is called salicylic acid. And if benzene ring with OH is called as benzoic acid. So I am writing the nomenclature. Okay, so this is the PS. Okay, so 4, let's see it very carefully. 4 amino, then 2 hydroxy, okay, benzoic acid. Can we name this one like this? So 4 amino, 2 hydroxy, benzoic acid. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in 4th position, what group is there? Amino group. NH2 is amino group. So 4 amino. In 2 position, what is there? Hydroxy. OH is hydroxy group. So 2 hydroxy. Then if you just remove this structure, okay, this one and this one, what is remaining there? One benzene ring with C double bond OH. So that structure is called as benzoic acid. Benzene ring with carboxylic acid, it is C double bond OH, it is known as benzoic acid. So that's why it is 4 amino 2 hydroxy benzoic acid. Another name is this one, para-amino salicylic acid. Okay, we can write or 4 amino salicylic acid. Okay, so 4 amino I have already discussed. Why it is para-amino salicylic acid? In this one is salicylic acid, and in para position what is there? Amino. So that's why para-amino salicylic acid. So in terms of the numbering, 1, 2, 3, 4, in 4 position amino group is there. So 4 amino, 4 dash amino, and ultimately this one is benzene ring with this one, and this one is known as salicylic acid. So 4 amino salicylic acid. So this is the nomenclature. Okay, so next we will see the properties of this PAS. Okay, properties of this PAS. So what are the properties? So it is minute crystals in alcohol. So it is mainly from alcohol, it is available as minute crystal. Then it is odorless or sometimes acidulous in odor. Okay. Then it is crystals. Okay. Then it is colorless. Then melting point. Okay. One more important. Melting point is ranging from 150 degree to 151 degree Celsius. Okay, so this is the melting point of this para-amino salicylic acid. So next property, let us see solubility. Solubility. So it is soluble in water. Okay, so 1 gram in 500 ml. Okay, it is soluble in alcohol also. Okay, alcohol. Then it is insoluble. Okay, so this is not soluble in, insoluble in chloroform. Okay, then it is soluble in nitric acid, HNO3, nitric acid and sodium hydroxide, and in sodium hydroxide. So this is about the solubility of this para-amino salicylic acid. So next we will see what are the formulation brands. What are the brands? So brands available are Epas, okay, then Epasil, CIL, then Parapas, then Resipas. So these are the brands. Okay, rest of the brands etc. you have to see in the book and also in the internet. So next we will see uses. So it is used, okay, along with other drugs, as tuberculostatic, that is bacteriostatic. It is used with streptomycin mainly. Okay, you have to remember streptomycin and dihydrostreptomycin. So it is used with streptomycin and dihydrostreptomycin to retard the growth of the bacteria. Okay, so you have to remember this drug is PES is used along with other drugs for as a tuberculostatic, and it is along with streptomycin and dihydrostreptomycin to retard the growth of the bacteria. Okay, so storage conditions are the storage conditions. So it should be kept at below 30 degree Celsius. Okay, so for its stability we have to keep it at temperature below 30 degrees Celsius. Then it should be kept, or it should be protected from light. Okay, so these are about the para amino salicylic acid. Okay, so I hope you have understood.